some pieces are hugely enjoyable to write, and some pieces are very easy to write. Some pieces seem to write themselves. I've written a few pieces that I've finished in a day. And then there are pieces which are an enormous struggle. And there have been some pieces where I've actually started to feel quite bored because it won't end. And you've got to plough on. And what's interesting to me is that there doesn't seem to be any correlation between how easy or difficult a piece was to write and how good it is. I've written, fast rubbish and slow rubbish. It's perfectly possible that I haven't found my voice yet. But I think what happens to young composers is that they are encouraged to look for their voice. And certainly when I was a student, Michael Tippet was an important figure in musical life and in my musical life, and it was something that he talked about a lot. And I think the reason he talked about it was because he was rather late in finding his voice. If you listen to the pieces that Tippet wrote in his 20s, they don't sound like Tippet. But he didn't start to sound like Tippet until he was in his actually mid to late 30s. And so I think he was a bit obsessed with this notion, and he used to talk about the importance of finding your voice. And I used to think, well, that's all very well for you to say, but where do you look for it? How do you find it? It's not like he's out there under a rock. And I think you can waste a lot of time with this, because it seems to me that a musical voice is a bit like a real voice, a speaking voice. And now I'm speaking to you. You hear my voice. I don't really hear my voice. I'm concentrating on what I'm saying and trying to make sense. But you're hearing, an English accent, for example, and all of these other things that I'm not aware of. And I think probably the moment that a composer finds his or her voice is when you stop hearing your own voice. It's when you stop thinking about it, you stop being self-conscious about it, and you just write the music you want to write. And at that point, you've probably found it. But you're not the person to say or know that that's the case. I think that unself-consciousness is the big aim of any artist.